Democrat who was previously accused of rape more than once, may be planning a primary campaign against progressive incumbent Congresswoman Cori Bush. That's right, Bush has been outspoken on her own sexual assault experience, and now she may have to go up against this Democrat. It's this guy here. He is a Democrat in the state Senate right now, Stephen Roberts. And Roberts has until March 29th to file papers and to make his candidacy official. And so we're all kind of waiting with bated breath of whether this gentleman here is actually going to get out there and try to campaign against Bush. So according to News One, Roberts, who identifies as Black, was first accused of rape in 2015 after a law school student reported his alleged actions to the police, resulting in the then assistant prosecutor at the St. Louis Circuit Attorney's Office being arrested for suspicion of second-degree sodomy. The following year, Cora Faith Walker, then a candidate for Missouri State Rep, also accused of Roberts of rape following an apparent celebration of both winning their respective primary elections. Walker wrote a letter to the state legislature making the claims, but Roberts was never charged after a local prosecutor said there simply wasn't enough credible evidence that sexual relations between these two people were anything but consensual. That's interesting how that works. Well, Roberts reportedly shamed Walker in a statement released by his lawyers at the time, suggesting that she, as a married woman, had a consensual affair with Roberts. Yeah, that's interesting as well. Unfortunately, Walker was found dead on March 11th in a hotel in St. Louis of a suspected heart attack at the age of 37. And a preliminary investigation determined that there was no foul play involved. So we're not necessarily gonna get more to the story there. But Roberts, we do know, is trying to erase his past transgressions. This is also what we know, that the suspicion that Roberts could be inching closer to challenging Democratic US Representative Cori Bush was only bolstered after the former's Wikipedia page was recently scrubbed of all references to past rape accusations against him, including one by his former fellow lawmaker Walker. Roberts, for his past, has not given any direct indications that he's planning to seek Bush's seat in the US House, but the St. Louis Post-Dispatch reported earlier this month that Roberts was looking to redraw congressional district lines in a move that political insiders said suggested he was positioning himself to take on Bush. And there are no mentions of that past rape accusation in that Post-Dispatch article, which is something to bear in mind. But what we do know is that on Monday, The Intercept reported the changes to Roberts' Wikipedia page, lending more credence to Schatz's belief that the state senator will be running for Congress. A spokesman for Roberts denied any knowledge of the changes to the page on the website that is notorious for allowing users to make carte blanche edits. The St. Louis Business Journal also fueled more speculation when it published an article making a case for a free pass that Roberts has to challenge Bush. It's a race that could see the establishment strike back, the local news outlet tweeted on Monday. Well, this is very interesting. With all these moving parts and pieces, I wouldn't be surprised if this gentleman thinks that it's a perfect time for him to maybe come back into politics. What do you think, Ben?
I mean, this is like, there's so many layers to this. First and foremost, look, if somebody has credible accusations of rape against them, just think about it for a second, right? There's plenty of qualified people in the world, right? So maybe we don't put those people in positions of power. I feel like that's a very low bar. But speaking of putting qualified people in positions of power, when millions of Americans were facing eviction, facing eviction, and Joe Biden was talking about getting rid of the eviction moratorium, it was Cori Bush who was sleeping on the Capitol steps to make sure that people kept their homes. And so it is absolutely infuriating that there is anybody talking about challenging, I would say, the best representative in the United States House today. It is absolutely shameless for anybody to push for this. And especially, but this is really where it is. My guess is that as a candidate, he probably represents landlord groups, because my guess is there's no landlord across the country that is ever gonna forgive Cori Bush for keeping millions of people in their apartments. That is, I think, probably one of the major factors that's going on here, because I know that when it comes to politics, there's always landlords playing a significant role in making sure their favorite candidates get into office. But like, every single part about this is just absolutely infuriating. And the idea that somebody might try to be involved in redistricting to get Cori Bush out of office, or might try to even just primary Cori Bush, I mean, there are a million other people that deserve. Everybody else in Congress deserves to be primaried before Cori Bush deserves to be primaried, to be honest.
Absolutely, and seeing this individual purport to be a Democrat, and it really tells you that just because somebody has a label affixed to them about what political party they're affiliated with does not mean that they're out here doing the work or doing good at all. And I agree with you, Ben, in terms of that there's a good chance that a lot of landlords would like to see Cori Bush be out of office and out of a position just by virtue of the fact that she does her job. She uplifts the people and supports them, and that she is there for individuals in Missouri, unlike this individual. I just think it'd be very tasteless to have him in office and to also see him running against Cori Bush.